my qualification journey, actually, it took quite a few years for me to even decide to take the QIHC. I didn't even know it existed at first. I knew there was HTL and there was HT. But once I started teaching, then the opportunity came, to know that there was a qualification in QIHC. Motivation to take it was actually through two colleagues of mine. There were two other instructors. We always would joke around. We all had our HTs. We joke around like, what is the next thing? So when QIHC kind of presented itself, we kind of challenged each other and gave, a deadline, so to say, as to who's going to get it first, how we're going to get it, how we're going to study. It wasn't something that was required, but it was more of a personal growth and competition between the three of us. It took quite some time. There was a lot more information compared to studying for the HT and the HTL. The pictures, of course, are a lot different. So there were, as you know, hundreds of IHCs out there, and just trying to remember or figure out, what am I looking at? I know tissue ID, I know special stains, but when you're looking at images for QIHC, it's all either that red, blue, or brown background, and that's it. There's nothing else. So that was the most difficult part for me, was just looking at the pictures. The information was pretty easy. I kind of stuck to Frida and Bancroft for study material, and I kind of dived into DACO for a little, but not too much. But Frida and Bancroft was my go-to for studying for it. I've been in school quite some time, and I know anytime there's an exam where you're able to take it at home, even though you're still proctored, those are a lot more difficult compared to if you were to go into an actual testing center. From experience, I know the questions are a lot more harder. You're nervous because you're in your comfort environment. I did mine at home, but making sure the kids weren't around, getting rid of making sure there was no distractions whatsoever or the possibilities. I think that was the main obstacle for me, and just kind of feeling intimidated by the unexpected. A lot of the information that you're going to be studying, you will not be able to understand if you do not have that hands-on experience at all. So you have to make those networking connections where, try to do some on-the-job training if IHC isn't your area that you work with every day. Get to know those technicians that are doing it every day. Get on-the-job training, take that extra time, because if I did not have that hands-on experience with my colleagues or previous experience, it would have been even more difficult to actually study for it. Well, at first, of course, was HT qualified. So that, being in the Navy, it's not a requirement to be nationally certified in your particular field. So once I completed my schooling, I think it took me almost 4 years before I actually decided to take the HT, which was hard because you kind of get into your daily routine of performing histology, and now you're going back to the books, to what's written. And the way that you do something every day, it's not the way it's written in a book that you're studying. So that was kind of conflicting for me. But once I got into studying for the QIHC, once again, it wasn't required. It was just something, healthy competition. But just getting those certification, it hasn't advanced me in my field, so to say, for Navy, but it has allowed me to stand out. It has allowed me, or given me that foundation to say, I know what I'm talking about, and kind of give me a little, the words that I speak a lot more backbone, so to say, because I have my certifications to back me. So I've proven myself. I've proven that I can sit down and I have the knowledge to know what I'm speaking about. In regards to the military, I didn't know this when I was taking the QIHC exam, but for the Navy side, I am the first and the only in the entire Navy to hold the national certification for QIHC. So that was really an accomplishing moment. It's not something I really speak about or I post somewhere or I talk about at all, but it makes a difference when you're the first of someone or the first of something to accomplish any particular task. Earning this qualification has only pushed me further. My overall goal, career goal, and life passion is to go to medical school and become a doctor. And I've spoken to many doctors because we work with them every day. What is the most difficult part of medical school, or what do you recall as being one of the most challenging areas? And I would say about 80 to 85% of them, besides the face-to-face patient care, always spoke about histology as a whole being the most difficult part. Being able to look at something under the scope and give a diagnosis, or to even know what you're looking at, to be able to form that diagnosis, was very challenging for them. So getting my foundation building my foundation in histology with my HT, my QIHC, and I'm now expected to take the HTL actually next month. I think it's me challenging myself to say I can do something and I can accomplish it, which my next task after that would be medical school. So what I learned both professionally and personally in regards through the QIHC is to not give up. So the very first time I took it, I didn't pass. I missed it, I think it was 2 points away, if I recall my score from the minimum requirement. So I was so upset at myself because I saw it as a failure. And of course I had to repay the entire application fee all over again. I think the same night that I received my results, it was just automatic. I'm like, no, I have to do this. I have to pass this. So I paid the fee again for the application and reapplied. And the second time around, I studied harder. I kind of knew what to, the way the questions were worded, the images. So it kind of just gave me a lot more drive and push to succeed at something professionally and personally. Personally, because I know I was better than what my score originally was. So I had to push myself even further. So that was a big accomplishment when I passed it the second time. Main advice about taking the QIHC exam is just kind of clear your mind of what you think you know. Like I said, it does help when you have the hands-on experience. It helps connect some of the dots, but that is not the way that it's written for you to study and the way the questions are formatted. You need to read the text. You need to study the text and pull out that information based on the study sheet or the guide that was given to you and focus on those areas. It is very intimidating, especially if you haven't been in formal school in quite some time. And I know a lot of our technicians have had on-the-job training, but open the books, read something, and then just use that hands-on experience to help connect the dots when needed. But do not rely only on your hands-on experience. Knowing what I know now, would I go through the process again? Yes, I would. I'm a big believer in education and continuing to improve yourself, whether it's personally or professionally. If there's an opportunity out there where you're able to have the backing of some form of certification, take it. You know, it does make a difference when someone is looking at your resume or your CV or you're speaking about something and you have that formal piece of paper in your hand to say, I know what I'm talking about. It really does make a difference, which is why, I know I don't have to take my HTL next month, but I'm still going to, because it's an opportunity that's placed on the table for me, and I'm not going to dismiss an opportunity that can either expose me or show me something different, or I can use later in the future if needed. So absolutely take advantage of every single certification that you're able to, and that you're comfortable taking at that particular time.